Oi pessoal, para de uma companhia AdTech, nosso foco é tecnologia e dados convertidos em audiência para ativação de publicidade programática e também no Facebook e Instagram. Se você viu alguma das nossas palestras e tem uma necessidade de trabalhar com dados, pode conectar com a gente em retarget.com. A gente vai ficar feliz de falar com você.
You may be asking yourself, who is this guy talking to us in English about data? Well, my name is Santi. I'm originally from the neighboring Argentina, and I'm currently the COO for RealTime, the largest LATAM exclusive data and identity company. A bit of my career, I started my first company when I was 21 years old. I'm an entrepreneur. That means that 2022 marks my 12th year in ad tech, which is more than I can even understand. I'm lucky to work with some of the world's biggest and best brands and audiences, working with audiences and agencies, including Procter & Gamble, PepsiCo, Interpublic Group, Publicis Group, and many, many more. And I've lived in the US since 2018, and hence my English. Currently in the Washington, D.C. area. So if any one of you is coming to D.C. and wants to talk about data with someone, hit me up. My email will be at the end of the presentation. Those who know me know that my style is very subtle. So I'll be frank and start with something you all probably know by now, but still for some reason is controversial. In 2022, it is a fact that advertising and media are all about data, whether we like it or not. So what are you as a CMO, a director, a manager going to do about it? That's the question I wanted to make here for you today. Let's start with some facts. In 2021 in Brazil, YouTube users spent 23.3 hours a month watching videos on their platform. TikTok users spent an additional 20.2 hours scrolling through short-form videos, and Instagram users added another 16 hours, almost 16 hours watching images, stories, and reels. That means that all combined, and taking into account that the average person sleeps or, should sleep 8 hours a day, that means that 12.3% of every waking minute was spent on one of these three platforms. You may ask the question then, what do YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram have in common? And I'm sure it's not going to surprise everyone when I say they all make use of the much talked about algorithms. In essence, an algorithm is a way for each platform to quickly decide what piece of content to show each user based on what specific users' past actions, likes, and dislikes. A good algorithm uses an ever-growing set of valuable data to predict if it's more likely that you'll stay on the platform if you see a cat video or a golf video or a dance video. And for me, that would be golf. And in a way, that's what you should be doing with your content, aka your ads as well. My proposal to you is this. Just like YouTube's algorithm can keep a user engaged, you can do the same with your ads. But to do that, you'll need a technology first, and then you'll need data. Lucky for you, the technology exists, and it has existed for almost 20 years now. And no, it's not something these 6 people invented. It's actually called real-time bidding, and it allows you to compete against other brands and other marketers for a user and an ad opportunity. Think Camden Mice. For those who have never seen the show, which how is that even possible, by the way? Camden Mice, or Storage Wars, as it is called in the US, it's a show about a group of people that make their business to buy abandoned storage units. They walk together around a lot, and after they've quickly looked at the unit, they start offering money for it, bidding for it. The goal is to buy it with the hope that inside the unit is a safe with something like, say, $7.5 million, something that has actually happened on the show, by the way, or anything else of value. But a lot of the time, they end up paying $1,000 for an old bed and some fake Rolexes. Well, in real-time bidding, which is a technology that programmatic advertising uses, you're doing basically the same. Only instead of abandoned storage units, you're buying ad opportunities and impressions. But the goal is basically the same. Pay more than the rest for each individual impression with the hopes that the user will like your ad and buy something from you. But you two are getting mostly fake Rolexes. In Camden Mice, they'll buy maybe 15 units per show, which is not a lot. For them, they end up going through all their cash usually. In advertising, the numbers are so much larger. It's really hard to comprehend. Every day, we see 15.7 billion ad opportunities in Brazil, with over 70 million users attached to them in total. If you don't know what you're buying, you could be spending millions of reais a day and getting nowhere. And I'm sure many of you are. But what if you knew what was inside each ad opportunity before anyone else? This is where data becomes key. With the right data partner and platform, you can know that the user will like your product or service before ever buying the ad. And more importantly, you'll know if the user will dislike it as well. So you can avoid buying ads on users that simply want nothing to do with you and instead spend your reais on the users that do. Your budget is limited and the amount of attention each user can give to you is as well. So why spend it on the wrong users when you can outcompete everyone else and buy the right ones using data? Now, this isn't really new at all. Many of your peers, other brands who are present here, I'm sure, agencies, have been doing this for years and getting the right results. So let me show you just 3 examples of how powerful this can be. Our first case is a large pharmaceutical company we work with in Brazil. So they were spending about 6.7 million reais a month on basic targeting through the Mindset platform or their programmatic platform, and basically burning through their cash with very little results. They were targeting and reaching a lot of people, but not converting, not turning those into actual business. As a solution, we proposed to create valuable insights and a data strategy geared towards users that resembled their current customers and brought in our own data as well as Serasa and Kantar's. The result? A resounding success. We reached their most valuable customers at a slightly higher price per impression, but optimized the total budget by almost 8 times. Spending more not only on the users that converted and saving almost 6 million reais a month. Our second case is with Canadian bank Scotiabank. They approached us with a problem. And I'm sure this problem will ring true to many of you who are here today. Their Facebook campaigns were performing worse every week, with CPMs on the up and results on the down. Again, we decided to start with basic insights based on their existing customer base. We developed something we call a growth profile, which is basically a group of characteristics that we will see in people who are actually prone to buying from the brand, and understood that their demo and interest target was way off. Using location and partner data, we built about 10 new audiences and started running campaigns for it. In less than a week, we saw the average CTR of their campaigns go from 1.5 to 8.6%, and without making the slightest change to their creatives. So imagine what more we could have done if we did do that. And lastly, one of our largest customers, a financial lender out of Argentina. Their problem was slightly different. They were having good CTR and good conversion rates on their landing page, but were rejecting over 90% of their applicants because their lending policies were so strict. So they were getting a lot of inbound interest, but then when they went to their risk department, they were rejecting all of them. This created, of course, unnecessary work for their call center and risk departments, as well as wasting their marketing dollars in people who are not going to go anywhere. Our solution was simple in a way. If you have a lot of data, at least it's simple. Let's take a look at the bank's lending policies and build a profile that gives us exactly that. Let's show the ad to the people we know will be approved, even before we actually show them the ad. Imagine if you could do that. Imagine if you could target not just the people who might want to buy their product, but the people who you actually know want to buy it and have the capability of buying it. That's what we're offering here. That's what data can do for you. This sounds almost too good to be true, right? But then again, the results speaks for themselves. From 90% rejection rate to 8% rejection rate, giving ample margin to increase, reach, and even change the messaging on the landing pages. Oh, and the cost per customer went down by 4 times. So as you can see, using data can be one of the most transformational things your brand will probably ever do. I'm not going to lie, it's hard. It's not something that's easy to do. It's something that takes time, something that requires a lot of learning, something that requires iteration, and that requires the right partners. You're going to be hearing a lot about first-party data and second-party data and third-party data, and a lot of brands, they'll look at all this and not know where to start. So a lot of the time you'll start getting, just getting afraid of it, and you don't actually want to do anything with it. So you just, sit on the sidelines and watch other people do it. I'm telling you, that's not the right approach. It's better to just start reaching out, start understanding about it, start going to conferences, taking classes, working with your agency partners, working with other companies like ourselves, but there are others, of course, that you can work with. The more you do, the better you'll get. So my question to you is, what is your approach? The way you're doing it today is probably closer to a shotgun blast. Anyone who's have any experience with shooting or knows anything about guns will know that shotguns basically shoot many different pellets in many different directions. If you're shooting something that, is moving too fast, that sometimes can be a good strategy. The thing is, if there's something that you care about behind that thing, you probably get a lot of collateral damage. You're going to hit your target, sure, but you're going to waste so much. With data, you can have a sniper rifle. One shot, one customer. That's where we want to go. That's where brands are going. That's where publishers are going. That's where the industry is going. And that's where your competitors are doing more and more. You can see this in the results of, as I said in the beginning, TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. We all want to be more like those companies. To do that, you need technology, which, trust me, is available to you. All of these technologies are available in Brazil. We've been working with them for a long time. And then data. And data takes time sometimes to get together, but is well worth the investment. The great David Ogilvy, who's just a mentor, I think, even though most of us didn't know him, to so many in the advertising world, said in the 60s that advertising people who ignore data are as dangerous as generals who ignore decodes of enemy signals. Although I don't like to think that customers are as the enemy, it is quite hard to argue with that logic, I'd say. That's it for me. I hope you found this useful. I hope you're enjoying the summit. It's been a terrific event, and I'm sure it's going to continue that way. Again, so sorry for my lack of Portuguese, and I would have loved to actually be at the studio filming. Looks terrific. You have my email up here if you would like to write me. It might take a couple of days to get a response back, but please do. Write me with questions. And as I said, if you're ever in the US, in DC, want to talk about data, feel free to come over. We also have a big team in Brazil. There's a lot of people in Brazil from our company and other companies that know about data. So you should really get out there, try to learn more, and use data to really transform what your business is doing in terms of advertising and in terms of marketing. Thank you so much.